before we play the Farhan sound, exclusive sound from our own Sam Lubman responding to the Buster Posey comments, I want to shout out Susan Slusser, who sent this tweet out. There's a new study that shows that California's homeless population is up 181,399 people. First and foremost, I hate using this as a stat. These are human beings, and my heart breaks for the fact that there are almost 200,000 people in this state without a home. That's just unbelievably brutal. It's a nearly 6% increase from last year, and more than 2/3 of that 181,000 are unsheltered, just completely on their own. Just because of the discourse that has gone on in the last couple of days, Susan pointed out, and you have to dive pretty deep onto page 25 of a many page report to find out where the majority of that 181,000 and the increase is centered. Of all of the cities named in California that are the centerpieces of this increase, guess which city is not mentioned?
Geez, I don't know. Los Angeles?
Los Angeles would be the number one.
Oh, geez.
Increaser. 71,320 experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Jeez.
Number two is San Diego.
Yep.
And county, over 10,000. We can keep going into the suburban areas where Santa Ana and Anaheim, Orange County come in, and then San Bernardino and county, and then Riverside and county. The only thing that even registers in Northern California is the Santa Rosa, Petaluma, Sonoma County area with over 2,200 people.
Jeez. I mean,
San Francisco is
not
absent
mentioned,
from this report.
And it's
just...
maybe it's because there has been no increase.
Stir it into your coffee and take a sip. That's all. Just for whatever that's worth.
And it's worth a lot, but it's only part of what Buster was intimating. He was also talking about the quote-unquote crime, and you mentioned it yesterday about local news, and our coverage is always about, the bad news as opposed to the good news, and so the sense is that crime, and I feel it here, and we all know somebody who's had their car broken into or their house broken into, and there's carjackings and muggings and all the rest of it, and that's what I think the other part of this is beyond the homelessness and the drugs.
Completely agree.
It's the burglary that feels like it's on the rise.
Yeah, and again, if you're in a situation and you're living in a spot and you're walking through a major city, I listen. Believe me, everybody who lives in every major city is feeling that at one time or another. All right, here it is. Sam Lubman, our own Sam Lubman, producer on the roast, down at the Jung Hoo Lee introductory press conference. Had the opportunity to pull Farhan Zaidi aside for a quick one-on-one, and these were his comments with regard to what Buster Posey had to say.
I think Buster, who played here for a long time, moved back to Georgia, came back here because his family loves this area so much. I think his comments were really taken out of context, which happens. I view the Bay Area as a big recruiting advantage for us. When you look at our recruiting videos, including the one we prepared for Lee, it features sort of scenery from San Francisco and the Bay Area very prominently. I think it's a huge selling point for us. You talk to our players who played here about playing in San Francisco, living in the Bay Area, they all love it. So I think it's a little bit spun out of control relative to the reality of the situation. Is every free agent going to have San Francisco number one on their list? Of course not. That's not true of any city. Whether it's geography, whether it's someone having family in the Midwest or the East Coast, wanting spring training in Florida. There are a lot of reasons why players have geographic preferences. And on top of that, every free agent is different. Some free agents go in and say, I want to go to the team that pays me top dollar. Others say, I want to be on one of these two teams, and I just want to get the best deal that I can. So that's a dynamic that every team deals with, and we're no different. But, you talk to our players, they have great experience. Anybody who's serious about playing here, when they have conversations with Logan Webb, Logan Webb is out on the front lines of this, like tweeting pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge.
I know, he was going full force yesterday. I love that.
That was great to see. I love seeing that. But look, the bottom line is anybody who's open or excited about playing in San Francisco, we're going to try to make that happen. And if we get a sense from a free agent that they have concerns, we'll either try to address them or we'll walk away from the table, because we don't want players who don't want to play here. So I don't view it as a disadvantage at all. If anything, I view it as an advantage, and it's an advantage that we make a big part of our recruiting pitch to players.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
think that's the reality of where all teams are, where you talk to a free agent and it's, how do you feel about playing in California? Well, I'm not really that into it. Okay, well then that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, why would you even take the meeting?
Correct.
And I mean that from the player standpoint.
Exactly.
Like, that's another thing. And I know how this may come off sounding. Look, coming in second place, third place, fourth place, that's for the birds. I'm not into it.
Right.
But Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Carlos Correa and Jung Hoo Lee, you know what they don't have a whole lot of during the free agent period? Time. They don't. And they wouldn't waste it. And Scott Boras wouldn't waste it. The fact that the Giants are given the opportunity to have these meetings with each and every one of them, I would gather from that means the player is at least intrigued.
Right, open to it.
Would like to hear what they have to say. Hasn't already X'd it off the list because it's terrifying and it's Gotham City out there. So, look, again, that's kind of my point. And I appreciate that Farhan addressed this with Sam, and I appreciate the detail he went into. Is it damage control? Maybe. Maybe there's an aspect of that to it. Sure. Because Farhan knows it better than anyone. He's already been through this once. But I appreciate him addressing it. But that's kind of the point. Farhan seems to be saying this is not a problem for us. So if that's the case, then all the more reason don't say this publicly. Because now the whole country has bought into the idea that the city of San Francisco is a detractor when it comes to the San Francisco Giants.
Exactly. And it might be a detractor for some players before they even think about taking a meeting. And that's just the way it goes. And, this country is so different in terms of where you're from and what your beliefs are. Maybe you're a person who doesn't believe in what we tend to believe in California, whether it's social, political, economic, or city conditions, or all of the above. You may not want to live the way that we live out here. I know that I certainly wouldn't want to live in many places. I think about Texas as an example. I would not want to live in Texas based on some of the beliefs that they have, some of the lack of social structures that are in place for women, for example. I wouldn't want to live there. And so if I had a chance to be a free agent, and if there was a Texas radio station that wanted to sign me on, it would be a hard no, because I don't want to live there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the case for the Giants,
Absolutely.
beyond what Buster Posey said.
Absolutely.